Welcome back, everyone, to the Verizon Valorant Game Changers North America Series 2 Grand Finals, where we have FlyQuest Red up 2-1 in this BO5 Grand Finals. Maps 1 and 2, Mimi, I think it goes without being said, those were a lot more one-sided, but we just had our most competitive map on that last map on Icebox with the scoreline of 13-9. Though we saw a huge lead after the first half, 9-3, and we saw Shopify able to scrape back what looked like the beginning of a comeback, but perhaps too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, it was technically the closest map, but I feel like this was a massive bounce back for the side of FlyQuest Red. They had a great performance throughout that first half playing this no duelist comp with tons of util. Their executes were absolutely on point. I think the coordination from this team playing into this Sova Gecko was really good. Shopify could never play on these sites, and they were always forced to play into the retake, and the post plans were just excellent throughout that first half to build that lead.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. I definitely completely agree. And I do have to say, I commend Shopify a lot for that 9-3 comeback, essentially, almost making it happen. I think Mel was starting to get fantastic with the lurks.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff that was working really good when it came to that attack side. They were picking apart FlyQuest, but still managing FlyQuest to hold on to it. And I think that's really important as we get deeper into the series. I think that narrative about like the experience and so on is actually showing that they have the same amount, at least able to stand with Shopify in this regard as the series gets longer here.
Yeah, and I mean, I wanted to look specifically at some of those post-plant rounds, too, because I think it's really showing kind of two layers of it. First of all, this team has really well put together preset stuff, but they also have a lot of things they're calling on the fly that are super good. This round was sick, completely walling off spawn and full fighting through SR's Harbor utility off that Sova ultimate. The timing to make all that work is honestly super hard with the Sova dart coming in the same time you're swinging through with your Gecko flash. All that was lovely. You had rounds like that were just all beautiful team play, and you also had rounds like this where it was coming down a little bit more to the hero plays, to Starbound very often having to step up at the end. But really, this just utility in the post plants was so oppressive that even with the Harbor comp, Shopify struggled to get on the board on this defensive side.
Yeah, and I would even add moments like the one you just saw as well, walking 3 people through their own Harbor wall to try to gain back this space that they divvied up so nicely for themselves, right? Trying to take moments like that and catch FlyQuest by surprise, but so frequently it wasn't the case, and you could see it right here in the stats. 9 out of 10 post plants for Fly. This is exactly the sort of thing that this game was built on, in these margins right here. The post plants were so good for FlyQuest.
You did talk a little bit about Mel, though, in that second half, and Shopify definitely showed some life there, but still, these kind of slow starts in FlyQuest proving to be able to maintain that control and then also close things out in the end, I think puts them up in a pretty good position in this series. Still, like you're saying, they are an experienced team, but the deeper we get into this, if we're looking towards a map 5, I feel like you have to favor Shopify a little bit. But I think there's a big opportunity here for FlyQuest on Series Point here, a map away from taking home this title. And it's going into Sunset, a map where they are super comfortable, where Dodo was playing great in that last map. She's going to be going on to the Rays here. Like, if they can come out with a good performance on Sunset, this map is their best chance to win this series.
Absolutely, Bala. Just as a reminder, yes, it has been what feels like an ongoing dynasty from that core of Mel and Alexis, and of course the rest of this cracked out squad. But last year, there was one time that they fell, and it was against a team led by Thea as well as Starbound on that roster for Evil Geniuses. So if there's ever a team to do it, it is FlyQuest Red.
I mean, the similarities are insane, Sue. Now that you bring it up, like, let me bring you back, right? It was that EG core of Thea and Starbound. They went through a lower bracket run where they lost in the first round, and they faced Shopify in the grand finals of the series. And guess what? They 3-1 them with Sunset as the deciding map. All the way back then, it was a weird Harbor comp. I don't think Sunset was really fleshed out in the meta, but it was Thea leading them through and dominating on this last map. So, I mean, history might repeat itself right here. I think I agree with Mimi that this is a good chance for them. I don't think it's necessarily the only chance that they have to close out the series. I think they've shown so far that they are definitely the more prepared and more put together team today up to this point. from both actually all three of the maps, right? I think that even Ascent, you could make an argument like, yeah, the game plan that they had was pretty decent. It's just in terms of executing onto, and plus there's not really that many holes to go after on Ascent when you're playing attack and a defense. So it's one of those things that to be honest, I think that they've been playing the better Valorant all day.
Yeah, and I feel like you can really see the growth in this team. When they were playing in Stage 1, they made a run to make it to the finals there, but it was a team that couldn't really compete with Shopify. Shopify went out, beat them in pretty dominant fashion, but now they've come back with a lot more time behind them and have truly built a squad that can compete with Shopify, right? Throughout this game, the things that have defined them haven't just been one individual popping up, haven't been the hero plays. It's been great game planning, great prep, and being able to adapt and call a lot of these rounds better than Shopify has been able to do. They are playing good, honest Valorant, and they are beating the best team in the scene with it right now. But still, there's always that difference between the teams that can push a top squad and actually close out the series, and there's still a chance for Shopify to come back. We saw that rally in the second half there.
Absolutely. I love that you did that history throwback earlier, Arten, because as we head into this next map on Sunset and we get ready for that Agent Select, what would you really like to see from the side of FlyQuest Red? Perhaps from a composition standpoint, going up against a team like Shopify that have also been great on Sunset.
Yeah, I think this sort of situation, you almost never go for too many pivots. There's very few teams that do that in best of fives, let alone grand finals, right? You're thinking like the Paper Rexes of all time. And this is also a map that's not fairly new or anything like that. Both of these teams are decent at it. I would say Shopify is fantastic at this map. So I don't think this is an opportunity for FlyQuest to really go deep and look for a different comp, look for a different game plan, look for anything special. I think right now they just needs to outcall Mel, and I think she's been doing a great job up to this point. And Sunset's a map that it's not really like Ascent where you can run into these brick walls. Sometimes if a team is playing really, really well, and sometimes Shopify can get there with Flora on the Rays, it's difficult, but I think when you saw this type of comp from Shopify on Lotus, FlyQuest was easily able to actually take decent advantage of where Alexis's breach util was being placed and where they're trying to set up floor. So those types of things, I think they can do a great job pivoting on.
For both these teams, I think this map is going to be defined by their attacking sides. Shopify is running that breach and that gecko comp. This is a comp that is built to set floor up for success, find the weak site, and go hard on these executes, and you can really build momentum off of that. FlyQuest, though, once they get on this attacking side too, the mid-round calling we have seen from Thea on this map is on point. You have that Sova to try and flush out and break this Cypher util, give you a lot of options in the mid-round, and have a lot of tools to have strong executes of your own here.
Yeah, we've had 11 total game changers, including this one, and there's only been 2 teams really ever to win a game changers, and Mel and Alexis have had 9 out of the 10 championships so far, and the other one, Thea and Starbound, right now there's potential for them to actually take this one more time, and I think they have a really good chance here soon.
Absolutely. The score is now 2-1 for the side of FlyQuest Red. Can they do what Bala just hinted at and take it away to become the champions for the first time this year over Mel and Alexis in Shopify Rebellion? We're about to find out with Doug and Baby Bay.
Thank you, Sue. I think Arten put together probably the most beautiful picture that we could imagine in a situation like this. And it's 2 war generals having to figure out what the other's going to do while corralling and controlling their own troops on a map like Sunset. That's really what it boils down to here, Dre.
Yeah, and the only difference in strategy is, one side has a Sova, one side has a Gecko. Lately, just from my personal, opinion and stuff that I've seen in the scene, I've seen Sovas have some crazy pop-off moments. I mean, we've seen Lace have some crazy pop-off moments in this tournament on this map, on the Sova. And I'm usually not a fan of Sova on a map like this, but I've been getting wrangled to it. I'm kind of a fan. So I feel like FlyQuest have a really good chance right now on this map of Sunset to close out this series.
And again, let me give you guys a little bit of history, at least as far as FlyQuest and Shopify go. It's 4-0 the way
year.
of Shopify,
Yeah.
or even,
since
4-0
last year.
this
Sorry.
year.
Even
right.
since last year, since 2023. Yeah. It's nuts.
Shopify win this matchup a lot. And so FlyQuest have a chance to do something special here. Thea and Starbound have the opportunity to continue to cement themselves as two of the best that VCT Game Changers has to offer, and it has to start on this pistol right here and right now. Lo and behold, Starbound's utility keeping Shopify at bay, potentially not just out of this map, potentially not just out of this site, but potentially out of the way from another championship. Unless Mel and Alexis can do something about it, Mel falls, the pistol the way of FlyQuest.
Another strong start for FlyQuest. Starbound dealing with that breach utility from Alexis so well. And Bala was talking about it. Kind of seems like FlyQuest is kind of ahead of that breach utility from Alexis. And that's why it paid out dividends for Starbound to get that kill off of the trip. It's just too clinical, too good, too decisive. And then in the retake, Flood, it's just so strong. The Sova dart comes over the back. It's just so many things to deal with if you're Shopify entering into the sites.
But Shopify will have to find a way to succeed. With pistols into this next round and a heavy stack towards A. Donuts on the swing off of the fault line, but Sarah played anti there. That was pretty.
That was really nice. That was really nicely set up from Shopify. Even the one-way on top of that box on the left there to deny that Cypher Cam from being the queue for that breach stun to come out. And now that's an upgrade onto Alexis. I wonder if he tries to cycle it out. We've seen the judge go crazy.
Only one found. The Sonder was so weak at this point, you can't imagine any other targets will be dropped. Lace on the swing will join in on the action for just a little bit, but the paranoia in the face is going to drop her.
Overwhelmed entirely, and that trip is still up on the flank, so Shopify with upgrades. Now, bomb is still not planted. The spike is not down yet, and they're just going to transition, but if Noya gets caught out here, it will be even fight.
No, there's no way you expect Noya here. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, the gun's just sticking out of that little sliver of the cage. And just like
the
that,
smoke was still up.
Yeah, and just like that, this is kind of a scrappy round. Alexis really has to go huge here. The jump peek, not able to get that kill. Now it's Mel in a 1v2.
She's got a Guardian in hand. The first target will fall, and the second will join. The Red Bull clutch for Shopify as Mel gets 4. Talk about leading from the front.
Yeah, good call to bait out that trap. I mean, from the start, even just that smoke blocking that Cypher camera, so it has to be an intuition timing on the stun. And then the cleanup, that Omen flash that we saw. Yeah, just barely. That spike kind of got in the way, kind of blocked the point of view of the FlyQuest members retaking out of that Omen smoke. Kind of worked to Mel's favor there. Who else other than the IGL to carry the torch for their team?
6-1 when there's a spark that's needed the most. This time it's Mel who's answering the call. Early still, but a big swing their way.
Yeah, winning an eco round like that on the attacking side, that's so hard to do. You rarely see it happen at this level. And now it's a spray down, a spray Quaza in B main. Fluorescent double satchelating over the fault line. It's just too nice.
Yeah, there's really nothing for FlyQuest to fight back with here. Lay still has the Marshall, but essentially locked out of the play, locked out of the round. This is really nice. A flash on one side, a dizzy on the other. That's as clinical as that gets.
There's my buddy.
And this is where, when you're FlyQuest, you start getting scared. When you lose an anti-eco round the way that you lost that round, and then you get completely steamrolled when you had a trap full and in prime effect for Noya's walk-up, and you still get punished like that? I mean, these are all things that seep into your mind. Yeah, you're not favored to win the round, sure, but it still matters the way that you go down.
That was not the way they expected. Shopify up early. We've got the Thrash online for Sarah as well. And now the Satchel Ford. If they continue to challenge this Cypher utility and find success, that's such a big win condition for them, and it might not matter. Starbound fully running, fully gunning, fully killing onto Mel.
Oh my gosh.
And they're far from done. Floor on the swing, the flash was there, the snap is clean. All of them fall as Floor is awoken.
There's not much you can really do here if you're Thea. You're 19 HP. You have so much to clear right now. I mean, I think you may have heard a couple footsteps going backwards into that B main. But everyone's sitting fully healthy on the side of Shopify right now. Just jiggles will do the job. Jump spot, see if Thea's on the bomb. No omen smoke. Double swing will be final nail in the coffin there. And this is what I was talking about. This is that scary zone where you give a team like Shopify an eco round and they get fired up and they just hunt you. They just run you down like this. They push all the way into your spawn. We're free firing headshots. I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah. And in those numbers advantage situations like that 1v2 that we just saw Shopify in, it's so hard to beat them. Man, they're not going to make a mistake.
This game is getting out of hand, out of control of FlyQuest. Another eco round. This fault line's going to hit every single member. Except for Starbound. Starbound might be just ahead of it. Axe up into it, though. Omen flash to answer.
Well, spacing gets a little awkward there, but Floor is managing to stay alive anyway. Still with one satchel, still with ult online. And now the neural theft. We'll get some info as to what's going on, but they just don't really have the guns. So if Shopify wanted to, they could dig their heels in, they could fight across mid, and they could just leave bodies littering the side. That's exactly what happens.
These last 3-4 rounds have been absolutely brutal for the members of FlyQuest. They've been getting absolutely decimated. Gun round, whatever. I mean, eco round, whatever. It looks the same to me. They will get a kill onto Fluorescent. What more can she do? The IGL gets taken out by Sarah.
I mean, you saw it there again. And I know that was a pretty brutal 1vx to be in.
Yeah.
But it's the discipline that Shopify show when they have an advantage. That's where they're at their best.
It really is a game of fundamentals. I spoke about it on the first map, or the second map actually. It comes down to mistakes because both teams are so good. They're well deserved to be here. This is a grand final, right? Everyone's going to be on point with their aim. Everyone's going to be fired up to win this thing. But who has the most discipline? Who has the control over the flow of the game to allow individual members, individual prowess to shine?
They've taken a lot of space up the middle of the map. That's very clean. There was no smoke on the other side, and Fluorescent is still there on the punish. The Rolling Thunder pushing Floor into the lap of Starbound. But there's no punish yet. Starbound choosing to play patient in the smoke, striking when the moment is right. Fluorescent dealt with. That's often the most difficult part, but through all of that, Shopify managed to get the spike down. Sarah has ult still. And they're playing so far back in their post plants. You talk about looking like you're scared or playing with an outrageous amount of respect. That's exactly what we're seeing out of FlyQuest here.
Yeah.
Mel's going to get flushed out of the angle, but there's really nothing to follow up on it. There's really nothing to challenge.
There's
no utility on the other side. And so as we see all of the utility soaring through, they have to challenge. They have to face the smoke. And Noi is there to greet them. 3 on the round for the Sentinel. Mel gets the last. Another round for Shopify.
All that playing up for Shopify puts doubt in the minds of FlyQuest, having them have to use utility to clear out everything up close, and then all of a sudden, 4 members of Shopify are sitting in the main. And then they just play the timer down. And that was such a nicely set up round with that showstopper to catch anybody off guard that's playing in the market area trying to back up. Those satchels make it so, you're kind of Mach 10 speed up mid. You have a rocket to kill anybody in your path. And the first time out now for FlyQuest. It's another gun round that went the way of Shopify cleanly.
5 in a row. The Dust talked so much about how this felt like this was a really neat opportunity for FlyQuest to do something special. And yes, this is a map that Shopify are very good at. But FlyQuest has them on the ropes, right? And FlyQuest just went through this lower bracket run. Shopify is just laughed in the face of all of that with how they've started this map. Every single gun round has gone their way. The way they're winning their advantageous positions is systematic. I mean, it's clinical, right? And this does not feel like the FlyQuest of the previous map. This does not feel like the FlyQuest of map 1. It's been this tit for tat across this entire series of one team seemingly being miles ahead of the other.
Yeah, but when you get ecoed the way that FlyQuest got ecoed, I mean, that's so pivotal in this game. I mean, it just brings the momentum the complete other way. And if you give momentum to a team like Shopify, it's they're gonna run with it. And there's no doubt about that. We've seen that happen so many other times.
Right, exactly.
Cannot be making costly mistakes like that against a team of this caliber. It's just, I mean, they're gonna run away with the entire map, and this is a map that you're supposed to be very strong on. I mean, the pistol round for FlyQuest, they look great. Shopify were the ones that look very lost. Look at how things change in such a short amount of time based off of one round. Now all of a sudden Shopify has all the fundamentals down. I mean, are you kidding me?
It happens quick. Not fast on the trigger. You will get punished. Shopify feeling a little bit of the pressure with utility in their faces. So swing up from away is good, but be careful. Dodo's waiting on the other side. Again, so clean, so steady from the attack side.
Super well-timed split there. Noya looked like she got team flashed a second, but still able to recover, clean up that kill on a Dodo Nut on site. It was the pause, right? It was the pause of Shopify in that elbow, not jumping the gun, not pushing through that smoke, waiting for it to go down, using their utility in exchange, and doing it in synchronicity. Jump over the trip will be the downfall of Starbound into this round. Noya cleaning up her counterpart. And just like that, it's a 6-1 lead for Shopify Rebellion on FlyQuest map pick of Sunset.
I mean, and a best of 5. You know, we can talk about map picks and yada yada yada. I think my big thing here is, again, it's experience that Bala was talking about on the desk. I think that's what it boils down to here, and it seemed like the experience was back the way of FlyQuest. And yes, there's experience on that roster too, but this almost feels like it's according to script, right? There's a team who's kind of pushing them, and then Shopify just cuts their legs right out of under them.
It's one thing to have experience in a best of 5, and it's another thing to close out a best of 5. That experience in itself, that feeling of being able to win in a best of 5, in that test of grueling strength, skill, and strategy, it's there. That is the true experience that you need to find out as a team. And sometimes there's teams that never reach that point. They always get to that second place mark, and they're never able to exceed that.
Sue mentioned on the desk that it was the combo of Thea and Starbound who were able to best Shopify, donning the EG banner. But it's time for a different flag to fly. And you've got to find a way to get past this deficit on Sunset if you want that to be the case.
Yeah, you got to bring this one back.
Yeah, another gun round, another opportunity for momentum to swing back the way of the defense. They've done such a good job of using utility to clear out Starbound's pesky traps and pesky trips. And then Fluorescent running straight at you leaves you with very little room to breathe and very little space to go.
That was a ridiculous entry from Floor. Now she's just going to get back. She's going to get out of the sight. Delay utility from Alexis. No other pieces of utility here from the side of Shopify. An early rocket from Dodonut. So worried.
I mean, with a fault line on the other side, too, I understand the concern, the need to clear every single angle. Fluorescent beheading Dodonut, leaving Sonder all alone. Another gun round the way of Shopify. I know it's early, but it feels like we're due for Breeze, man. I just don't know how you slow down this Shopify train.
I don't think you can. I mean, Floor's doing different rollouts now. Already basically doing a fadeaway in that moment. Floor knew that she had that kill on the lace. That was ridiculous. Already turning the other way, waiting for a player to run out of market. Just no doubt in her mind that that bullet was going to connect. That's a different type of confidence. And now we see Noya at the top. Cyphers can be so annoying to play against on this attacking side, especially when they're popping off like this. They can kind of dictate the entire pace of the game. If the Sentinel player is popping off like that, it makes it easier for the rest of the squad. Another nicely called default round from Mel. A mid-trap was executed by FlyQuest, but nobody was taken out. And now that's all this A space gathered for free. I mean, we spoke a lot about clinical rounds and everything on the last map for FlyQuest and the calling of Thea, but it's a masterclass right now for Mel on this map. This constant back and forth battle of the IGLs. It really does look like we're headed towards Breeze.
Yeah, the problem is at least this map has not felt like a back and forth. It's just been a fourth for Shopify.
Yeah.
For as much as, and again, I think the Dusk was right. You've got to be able to outcall Mel in a situation like this, but there hasn't even been a hint of that at this point. And so Shopify will continue to cruise and continue to push forward in the face of this lighter weaponry. FlyQuest have put together a little something. They've kept it interesting. They've kept it close, at least this round. Noi is so weak, but it's just pistols. An upgraded weapon for Lace, a Guardian in hand, but time is so short. Time is so short. You're right, the utility that they have, the crossfire setup that's through, you never really have a way in. Even with all of those kills going the way of FlyQuest, look at the money for Shopify.
Yeah. They were more than willing to die for the cause right there and just get even more ultimates online. I mean, look at that. We're going to hit the replay right now. Yeah, it was a little scrappy at first. Whatever, you know, it's fine. But this at the end, I mean, that fault line, the rechargeable from Alexis, utility is actually on point. You know, I'm definitely biting my words from what I said after that pistol round. But Alexis sitting at 12 assists. Now that Breach ultimate online, Thrash online, Omen ult if need be. Probably just to get the info. This is going to be so hard to anchor if you're Starbound in a fast split in the market. A completely different change of pace.
They rely so much on Floor's satchels to get a timing. There's really no cover on the other side. Very reminiscent to what we saw when they pushed into spawn. There was no smoke towards mid. There's just a full satchel, and you better hope they don't hit it, and they can't. They're challenging FlyQuest to punish them, and they cannot.
They're just feeling it too much right now. They're being forced off of this section of market, but Floor, she has something to say about it. Sarah with the support as well. It's all up to Sonder, and she gets completely 180'd. Unreal.
What a stomp.
This is so insane.
9 rounds in a row, the way of Shopify Rebellion. Just when it seemed like they were the ones on the back ropes. Just when it seemed like they were down and they were out. What a response. And again, you know, I mentioned it earlier. Is this not the most Shopify thing that you could think of? Like, oh, there's a team that's going to take us down. Hang on.
We're not done yet.
Yeah.
One eco round, that's all we need.
What a beautiful display of Valorant from Shopify.
In a league of their own right now on this map of Sunset, that's for sure. This time, full squad behind Noya here. A lot of the time, she's just been here alone lurking. This time, all 5 members squatted up, ready to exec onto this site.
Keep an eye on Starbound. So far undetected, but the ping on the minimap suggests that they know what's laying in wait. Oh, it might not matter. Completely destroying Sarah. Lace on the swing. But the spike is still not down in the hands of Noya, who's gotten 3 on the round, taking matters into their own hands. Less concerned with the spike, more concerned with the frags. They in a 1v2. The opposing IGL still alive, still healthy on the other side. And again, a beckon to make a play. They have forced to create something out of nothing. The magic that's been there. Not just in the calling, but in the fragging. Again, I want to take you guys back to yesterday. Thea was a monster. But it seems like the real monster's waiting on the other side now. Mel cleans her up. Fitting as Shopify get to 10.
Last round
It was absolute madness on the B site. I think Mel slipped back and forth out of that smoke, trying to find the timing on the Lace 10 times. Leave it up to Noya to continue the hot streak that she's on. Getting 3 into that round. 15-7 as Cypher on this map of Sunset on the attacking side. And then again, the post plant. Both members, I think it's Alexis and Mel, just backing off into B main in the middle of the post plant while that's happening. It's been such a thorn for FlyQuest.
No, not getting far enough with the satchels to really find value with the rocket, but Sonder is going to punish at least a little bit.
Little 360 to get out.
Style points.
Yeah, right?
And so FlyQuest are forced to kind of to scatter really across the map, given Shopify cutting noise fully. They've left Mel be, and she will go exploring on her own.
No way she's going to get this timing.
This time, you're right. I thought it was going to be just enough. Mel, just a split second moment of hesitation cost her life. They've got to understand here, given that they just saw Mel on the other side, that the stack is likely towards A. Given how she's been playing, and I think because of that, you see 3 members from the defensive side here, including the fault line that just came out from Sonder. Ult at the ready. Right on cue, invested, nowhere to go. They're knocked straight up, backed into the wall. Lace on the swing. Sarah's dead.
Down A.
A desperate need for a round conversion for the defensive side. And it seems like it's going to come through, but maybe too little too late.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it is too little too late. A 10-2 half. At least it should be. This would be something of epic proportions, but it's not. Donut will clean up the round with those judge kills. And that's 10-2. Shopify in the lead.
A 10-2 half on... Yeah, that was so close. I mean, honestly, the fact that Sarah doesn't take any damage there is mind-numbing to me. I don't really know how that works, but a 10-2 half on a map like Ascent? Maybe. But Sunset? That's tough, man.
And you won the pistol, too. You started off strong.
Mm-hmm.
You just let it slip away, and you just can't be doing that in a moment like this. In a grand final against a team that's this seasoned. Champs. Reigning champs. Will be a mid-crunch from the side of Shopify, quickly down mid. So maybe a fast flank could be in the works already. On the other side, FlyQuest have already taken this A space for free. What kind of retake will Shopify put together here?
Seems like they want to have a divided approach, a little separate and conquer your way through this. The trip is cleared, the cam is up, the paranoia will miss the mark. And wisely, Shopify kind of dancing around it. Fluorescent now going into the swing and will fall off the hands of Thea. There's still so much left on the side of the attack here. You mentioned it earlier. They won the pistol in the previous half, and it wasn't enough. Can they convert here? Can they do it again? Both members, Sarah and Mel, falling. Noya will join them. FlyQuest get the pistol once more.
It's not over yet. That being said, the last half, you know, it's a little scary for FlyQuest, to say the least. Probably nightmarish. But that was a clean pistol round win. Another post plant. If FlyQuest can manage to get the bomb down, and they have as rehearsed post plants as they do on the other maps we've seen them win in this series so far, there's actually a case to be made.
Yeah, my brother. We can't, not yet. We can't start making that case yet. I mean, the runway that Shopify have built. Talk to me again in like 6 rounds. And we'll see what we've got in our hands.
Definitely
on the swing. Sarah will fall. Gun difference on full display here.
It's getting scrappy, though. That nade did a lot of damage. That being said, Starbound will pick up Mel there. Oh!
Spike down A.
Still a 1v3, but this would be a floor 1v3. Toto Note with 3 on the round, though. FlyQuest get to 4. Keep a close eye on the ultimates. If you're going to have FlyQuest put together a 10-2 comeback half, everything has to click the right way. It's all got to be this perfect concoction, this recipe of everything striking when the moment is right. The ults have to hit. The finances have to be in tip-top shape.
The bonus has to be one. That's the main one, right? If they don't win this bonus,
course, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main platter. You got to have that. So what are they going to cook up here? I mean, they should be fully investing into this round.
I'm really surprised they're carrying 2 pistols into this. You're right. I would expect maybe a 4-1. But we'll see. FlyQuest with attention towards the middle of the map. If they decide to split B, they're going to have to deal with Noya's defensive Cypher utility, and we talked about how miserable it was to deal with on the attack. Floor the first to fall.
Talking about guns, I guess all you need is a sheriff.
Careful, Noya with a lot to do here. We'll get one though, but that's going to open up the site. Now they're going to have a lot more room to breathe and a lot more space to work with.
It's a really good start. Those trips still online, so they don't have to worry about that B main flank quite yet. Right now for Shopify, they have to use all this close utility to clear out these angles. Soon they're going to find out no one's playing up front. That Gecko Flash will do the job.
Paranoia out of Starbound will fall. The swing out is Mel. Falls to her knee. Sarah will join. Alexis left in a 1v2. Both members a little bit worse for wear. No way. Alexis hits that shot, but Sonder hits an even better one.
What was that answer back?
3 on the round as FlyQuest get to 5.
What was that answer back, Doug?
Unreal.
One tap? So risky. But so confident. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That second snap as Alexis was trying to clear the dart and then still finding her footing. That's criminal.
Yeah, that was absolutely criminal. You're 100% correct about that.
So we've gotten the bonus. Still 5 rounds separating the two. Still not full cause for concern.
What?
But it's got to be in the back of your mind. The creeping thoughts are starting to work their way in. A Rolling Thunder invested in a situation like this is very surprising, but FlyQuest decide to do so anyway. Down in numbers, but up in guns. The problem is they're surrounded. Noya is on the prowl. Noya is on the hunt. And again, the prey will fall right before. Leaving things in a 2v2. Sonder on the tap, on the swing as Floor gets another one. And now looking straight up to try to pluck Floor out of the sky, but it's a thrifty round win the way of Shopify.
What a round from Shopify. Just stacking A again, just gambling. We talked about how when you have a lead, you're able to do things like that. You're able to just go for the 50-50 gambles. If they hit our site, great. We have a chance of winning the round on the eco. If not, you know, whatever. We play a retake or maybe we all die to bomb. In this case, Floor racks up enough kills to get that showstopper online to secure the round win. And FlyQuest, they've shown only A on their anti-ecos in this half so far. Yeah, it's only been 2, but still. Shopify read into it.
A little early aggression and so much space has been denied from the defense. You saw that Paranoia satchel out from Floor. Mid is not open. They've done such a good job of, again, funneling them into B. Forcing them to play in Shopify's pen.
This is going to be so hard to break through.
They know she's there. They should know she's there. They've left the site. Floor's waiting on the other side. With Alexis not far off. Oh, they haven't gotten past Dodonut. And Thea too with the Sheriff. Now the Rocket online trying to do the best she possibly can. Getting the best of Sarah. And now it's Floor who's in a 1v4.
No way. What is this map?
It's just been unreal. Just when you think it's done. FlyQuest answer back.
Get me in the line of fire.
This is so ridiculous. Eco round the way of FlyQuest, or thrifty round, I should say. Off of a hero buy from Dodo. Just a Vandal. Then we get upgrades in CT. We close out the round with that showstopper. It looked like the same exact round that we saw Shopify win the previous.
One enemy
The showstopper to secure the third. That kind of felt like the nail in the coffin there. And now a timeout for Shopify, the first one of the map so far. To be fair, they haven't really been pushed back at all up until this moment. FlyQuest have now broken the economy of Shopify. But the only round they lost this half has been an eco round. So, it seems like they have a harder time winning the eco rounds than they do not. It's a 50-50 at this point right now.
What are the adjustments on the other side of this timeout from Shopify? Sarah and Alexis are both close to having their ult online, just 2 rounds away from taking us to Breeze. You know, you and I have talked so much about how it's often those closing rounds that are the hardest, right? Putting a team away is often the most difficult thing to do. And especially when you're facing up against a team that has made their way up until this point through having backs against the ropes, right? Through being forced to show that resilience and grit. A lower bracket run in perfect fashion. You don't come across that every day.
And also a team that's just sick of losing to Shopify, simply put. They're just sick of it.
Yep.
They've had enough. They're giving themselves a chance with this attack half that they've had so far. This time, using utility to scout out if anybody's stacked onto the B site. A different approach from FlyQuest, not running their head blindly into the wall. And now they have all this utility to delay the actual set retake that Shopify might be able to put together.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they have a rollout of some kind, but they really don't have the guns to do this. So as much as there may have been a plan, the perfect surrounding by FlyQuest there secures the round.
That was so sick. Fault the breach C to clear out anybody in the close left cubby of that B main area. And then the fault line with the nade to kill anybody that's on top of the box or under it. And then the crunch from Starbound here. Ooh, satisfying kills. So snappy. (11-7) will be the scoreline. The lead going the way of Shopify. Another B main default the way of FlyQuest. Aggression down mid floor.
We've seen this rollout before.
Yeah. That trip is broken A as well. This time, FlyQuest. They know if they speed up B, it's a little too obvious. They decide to reset.
I mean, that's exactly what Shopify want them to do. Look at that. Look, I mean, just look at the way that Shopify are rotating around the map. After that early aggression from floor, they know that mid space is theirs, and it's going to be on FlyQuest to have to re-clear that space using utility. So they quickly rotate back towards B, now realize that the hit isn't there, the timing isn't adding up, so it's a mad dash towards A.
Might be able to get here in time for a flood off a Thrash. Do they decide to set the retake up, or do they just go for it? There's so many ults online and available. Even a breach ultimate here. You know two players are stuck default. When do you pull the trigger? Here we go.
There it is, the Rolling Thunder invested. Mel getting forward, getting a best of Donut, but is traded right back. They've got the Hunter Fury as well. Over the top as Lace tries to instill chaos into the situation, but Floor stands above it, finally falling, leaving Lace in a 1v2. Spotted, position given away. Still with so much health and given ones in a position like this. Lace was clutch map 1. Can she take us all the way? Yes, she can. The Red Bull clutch as FlyQuest gets 8.
That was insane from Lace. Lace was so far away after using the Hunter's Fury, which created chaos in the retake of Shopify, but Shopify were able to weather that storm in itself. But this, I mean, they had no chance. Both kills were instantaneous. So quick on the trigger.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
And now, the case has been made. We're within 3 rounds, Doug. Shopify are on an eco.
Yeah, this case is fully open right now. I wasn't a believer at the beginning, but FlyQuest just don't seem to care.
Another free B site.
I mean, to do so like this would be so sweet.
Oh,
and so Shopify once again have to figure out how they get out onto B with little weaponry, because as you mentioned, it was free. It was open.
There.
Still so many layers of utility here on the side of FlyQuest. Counter util use. Wait, this judge. Oh my gosh, it could have gotten so much value there.
Well, there's still a little value being found. Floor getting one with the Marshall and a nade. A second online. Lace flushed out of the corner, and now flash in her face. Down to 18 HP. That was one of the filthiest things I think I've ever seen. You don't push Shopify up against the wall. That's just not what happens. You get pushed back. Shopify get to map point.
I can't believe it. I simply cannot believe it. The only rounds this half that Shopify have won have been off of eco rounds.
That's all you need.
There's nothing to say. Good job for Shopify for taking advantage of grave mistakes that FlyQuest are making in a series like this.
The pattern this half has been 3 rounds for FlyQuest, Shopify finally get in. 3 rounds for Shopify, FlyQuest and Shopify get in. Can it happen again? What a brutal rollout.
Oh my
War
gosh.
on the trade. The rocket hits the mark, and it does so in a devastating way. Sonder and Lace forced to sit back and watch. How do Starbound and Thea navigate this mess? They don't have the spike. They don't have control of the map. Starbound barely has any health. Floor's not much better off, but this is such a miserable position to be in, and they will crumble. Breeze is on the cards. That's how this series ends.
That was such an insane map from both sides. I mean, the fight back on the attacking side for FlyQuest, it looked promising. But the eco round, the thrifties from Shopify, they were too strong. The individual mechanics, everything at the end there. I mean, it was so nice. The way that Floor covered the player that was stuck with all that utility. And I thought the judge was going to get the value. It was the Marshall and the Raze nade. And then that satchel over the top with the right click. I mean, that was disgusting.
I mean, Floor just makes it look so easy.
It looks so, yeah, it looked effortless.
It looks ridiculous. Breeze to decide who walks away as Grand Finals champions. We'll see you guys in just a moment.